After we got our 396 all put back together and installed in our 69 Camaro, we determined that the muffler shop exhaust system that was on this car just wasn't going to cut it. So we decided to install a true dual stainless MagnaFlow kit with an X-pipe. The MagnaFlow kits are pretty nice because they're a simple installation. You only have a couple of variables when it comes to installing the kit on your car. They come with all the pipes that you need except for the final connection to your headers or manifolds, and then you have an option of what kind of tip that you want to use. In our case, our fabricator Nick hung the system tightly in the car using all the supplied pieces, the stainless 2.5-inch tubing, the mandrel bent pipes that go up over the axle, and the two stainless polished MagnaFlow mufflers. And this engine is using a set of reproduction exhaust manifolds that we got from Classic Industries. So he had to make the right connection at the right point to connect those pipes to those manifolds. But it's really not that big of a deal. If you don't have access to welders in your home garage, you can cut the pieces to fit, take those front pipes down and take it to a welder or a muffler shop, and they can finish off that connection for you. The other option is where you want your exhaust tips to come out. And when this car came into our shop, it had it looked like 2.25-inch pipes sticking out the back, and they weren't symmetrical, and they were just kind of hanging down, and it didn't look good. So we wanted to clean up the back of the car, so we tucked those exhaust pipes up inside the quarter panels so that when everything was finished, you really didn't see anything, but you could certainly hear it. The MagnaFlow definitely has a very sweet sound, especially when they're behind a big block shed. The last thing we did was pull the rear cover off the differential. That seal was leaking a little bit, so we put a new gasket in it and refilled the differential with Royal Purple 75W140 Max Gear loop. So did we achieve the goal? Definitely. The new Edelbrock cylinder heads, camshaft, and the intake manifold are all giving this car a new lease on its top end life. It breathes much more freely at higher RPM. Never mind the weight savings on the front of the car. And the camshaft is nice because it makes a bunch of torque without sacrificing high end. The car starts nice, drives nice. The Baer brakes up front have given this car much more comfortable stopping. It's more repeatable, nice straight line stopping. The sway bar really helped the way this thing feels. And those Global West Del-A-Lum suspension bushings have basically made this car corner perfectly flat. Between that and the sway bar, total difference, night and day. But I think the Centerforce clutch gives the car a whole different feel too. It's much more grab, a lot less slip. And I think the biggest improvement was the MagnaFlow exhaust. Because now when you're in it, and your foot's to the floor, it sounds like a race car, but it's still quiet enough to drive around and have a conversation in the car. So overall, I think we achieved every one of the goals we set out to do. Tuning this car, we found that the Holley Street Avenger carburetor needed a slightly larger center squirter because it had a little bit of a stumble. So we bumped that up from the size 25 that was in it all the way up to a 37. And we decided to change the timing to a little less aggressive initial. And with this MSD Digital E-Curve distributor, it's real easy to change the advance curve. You just pop the cap off and tune the two dials to match the graph that they supply in the instruction sheet. However, we did encounter a little bit of a hassle, and that is that after our initial test drives, the car came back with some very noisy valve lifters. We had a ticking noise down low that was kind of scary actually. And after doing a little research and going back over our photographs of what this engine looked like when it was disassembled, it dawned on us that the 396s from the mid to late 60s had oftentimes two very small holes drilled in the front gallery plugs behind the timing cover. And the holes are like 30 thousandths of an inch. They're very, very small. And what they did is they allowed any air that was in the oil system to bleed off before it made its way into the valve lifters and caused a ticking sound. And this was a repair that many Chevrolet technicians did back in the 60s when people brought their 396 powered cars back to the dealer when they started making noise. So we bit the bullet and took the front accessories off the car, pulled those plugs out, put them in a bench vise, and drilled a pair of 30,000-inch holes, one in each plug. Then we reinstalled those plugs, put the front accessories back on, started the car up, and the tick was gone. And we hope it's gone for good. So overall, we're very happy with the way this project turned out. It's a nice, kind of a short-term project. It wasn't a full restoration on the car, but it's something that an average guy could do over the course of a couple weekends if we got the right tools. So we're going to have all the part numbers that we use listed on our website at vatvshow.com. And if you want to make some significant upgrades over a stock engine, the parts we use on this car are a great way to go.